دعاة رب السماء يا من صنعتم في الأرض نورا.
The topic tonight is maintaining the Sunnah. We know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have told us in the Quran. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa ma ataakumur rasulu fakhudhuhu wa ma nahakum anhu fantahu. Whatever the messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam comes to you with, take it. Whatever he prohibits you from, refrain from it. Fantahu, stop. Based on this, we'll take two hadiths to conduct this reminder for myself first and for you all, inshallah. And I pray to Allah that we all benefit from it. Ameen. And I can see some new brothers here, new faces. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for coming. Feel at home at your masjid. An Abi Najih al-Irbad ibn Sariyah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu qala وأذنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم موعظة بليغة وجلت منها القلوب وذرفت منها العيون فقلنا يا رسول الله كأنها موعظة مودع فأوصنا قال أوصيكم بتقوى الله والسمع والطاعة وإن تأمر عليكم عبد فإنه من يعش منكم فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا فعليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين وإياكم ومحدثات الأمور فإن كل بدعة ضلالة. الحديث رواه الترمذي في سننه وأبو داود أيضا في سننه وقال الترمذي حديث حسن صحيح. In this very lengthy hadith, Abi Najih al-Irbad ibn Sariyah, he said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave us a very strong, very powerful, very comprehensive advice. It was so strong, our hearts got scared and our tears were flowing. We said, O Messenger of Allah, it looked like you are farewelling us, so advise us. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Usikum bitaqwallah. I warn you, I advise you to be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything you do, in everything you say. Before you do anything, before you say anything, be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be mindful of the consequences of the action you are taking or the sentence you are uttering. فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِشْ مِنْكُمْ, he said, وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِالسَّمْعِ وَالطَّاعَةِ. I command you, I recommend you, I order you to listen and obey. Even if a slave comes and forcefully lead you, certainly whosoever lives long will see a lot of division, a lot of frictions. I also warn you to refrain from innovations. Every innovation is misguidance. Follow my sunnah and the sunnah of my companions. They are the chosen one, they are the guided. This hadith, the real and the true scholars have written books, have done assignment, research on this hadith, and they have given khutabs, lectures on this topic. First of all, we see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he reminded us to be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. He also told us to hear, to listen, and to obey. The Sunnah, his Sunnah, and the Sunnah of his companion. If he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to come among us today, he will say, this is what I told you before. I told you this before. The Sunnah is so wide, one will not be able to practice them all. But it is wrong to abandon them and to neglect them and to not to defend them and to not to practice even a very few of them. We know hadith Abdullah ibn Umar, a very long hadith. When he said, I will not eat, I will keep on fasting every day, and I will continue on offering night prayers, optional prayers, for the rest of my life. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, no. Fast Mondays and Thursdays, and 13 and 14 and 15 of the Islamic calendar month. He said, I can do more. He said, no. Then fast the fast of Dawood alayhi salam. Eat one day and fast the next day. He said, I could do more. We know later stage of his life, he said, I wished I listened to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Sunnah we are talking about here, we are talking about the Sunnah because Fard is above the Sunnah. We are talking about the optional things here. Take for example, offering Sunnatul Zuhur, 4 rakat. They are performed different ways. Some narrations, they are practiced as the same way we pray Zuhur. But the intention is, they are Sunnatul Zuhur. They are not the Zuhur. They are Sunnah. Other views, the way they are practiced is offering them 2-2. We also know Salatul Taraweeh in Ramadan or Qiyamul Layl, be it Ramadan or not Ramadan. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam only offered 8, narrated by Aisha. Later stage, Umar found that in the masjid, Sahabas are praying group here, group here, group here. He said, Halla jama'atuhum ala imamin wahid. Can't I gather them on one imam? And then he told them to pray 20. His view is based on the hadith, Salatul Layli Masna. The prayers of night are 2-2. There is no restriction on numbers, but it is just on the quality. We have to look at the quality, not the quantity. So it is recommended sometimes if you are offering 8 rakat, be mindful and practice the other ones so that you are reviving the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam based on this hadith by following the Sunnah of the companions. That is why we see the scholars, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa, Well, Imam Shafi and Imam Malik and Imam Ahmad and others, rahimahumullah. I mean, their views is based on the understanding of the hadith and the hadith that they got. They base their views on this. We must respect their views and we must practice the sunnahs the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered us and commanded us to do. Other sunnahs that can be practiced differently is rakatay duha. We know the minimum is 2. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam offered 4, offered 2, 4, 6, 8. If you are not able to offer 8 all the time, try practicing it, offering 8 weekends, public holidays, the days that you are not working. And also, try and practice 4 and 6 and 8. In doing so, you are covering all the ahadith and all the sunnah. Don't see a person offering just 2 and condemn him. Don't see someone offering 6 and condemn him. They are following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the neglected sunnah in many of the masajid here in New Zealand, with the exception of 3, this Masjid al-Tawheed is one of them, is Sunnatul Adhan. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ma bayna kulli adhanaini iqama." Afwan, rak'atan. In between every adhan, there is 2 rak'ah. This is al-adhan wal-iqama. I know a masjid, a trustworthy church used to make adhan and offer 2 rak'ah. He was questioned as to why he is offering 2 rak'ah. When he told them the evidence, they said, no, we followed Madhab Abu Hanifa, and it is wrong. So, to stop him praying those 2 rakat after the Adhan al-Maghrib, they decided straight away after the Adhan, give the Iqamah. This is wrong, because we know the Sahabas and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after every Adhan, they will go behind the pillars of the masjid, they will offer 2 light rakat. Neglecting this sunnah is very dangerous. Why? Because it will lead to neglecting other sunnahs. And we know the hadith said that a person might offer a prayer, they may get half of the reward, or 1/3, or 1/4. On the day of judgment, if the reward is not complete, Allah will say, and He knows best, He will say to the angels, "Unzuru hal li abdi min nawafil." Have a look. Does my slave have any optional prayers? If you are not offering this nawafil, how will one make it to Jannah? Offering this nawafil are signs of loving of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and signs of following him, and signs of defending his sunnah, and signs of practicing the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We know hadith Jabir ibn Abdullah, Mu'adh ibn Jabal. He said he was with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "May I show you the gates of goodness?" The gate of goodness. He mentioned 3. One of them, he said, as-siyam, fasting. That is optional fasting. For optional fasting, we know it is highly recommended fasting on the day of Arafah, Ashura, and 6 days of Shawwal, and Mondays and Thursdays, and 13 and 14 and 15 of every Islamic calendar months. Let not be like Ubadul Mawasim, seasonal worshippers only. When it's come for Udhiyah, Udhiyah too is Sunnah. You'll find people who they miss Jummah. Sometimes they pray only Maghrib and Isha. But when it's come for Udhiyah, they do it. They spend huge to do it. That is right, but what they are doing is they are neglecting the fard and concentrating on the Sunnah. And the Sunnah can only complement the fard if the fard is adhered to. If it is not adhered to, one might just forget it. We also know the second point Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him as gate of goodness is sadaqah. We know sadaqah wipes out sins. If it is done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is given sincerely, with dignity and respect, it wipes out the sins. It closes the door of the hellfire for a person. And also Qiyamul Layl. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave him these three: fasting, optional fasting, and giving in charity, and Qiyamul Layl. Qiyamul Layl, people sometimes take it as something that have to be offered in hundreds of rakat. No, it shouldn't be that way. The Sunnah we offer after Isha, if one's intention is sincere, will fall into that. Particularly if they have offered Salatul Fajr in Jama'ah, and they also have offered Isha Salat in Jama'ah, they will be credited as if they have offered Qiyamul Layl, the whole night. If it is only Fajr, it will be as if they have performed half of the night. Or if it is Isha only. The scholars' views have to be respected. About possibly 10 or 15 years ago, a brother was writing assignment about al-fiqh al-Hanafi, the fiqh that is based on the guidance of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala. He came to a point where Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah have made an opinion, is the only Imam who made that opinion, and all the others did not see, they deemed the hadith of his evidential hadith is weak. He referred to him as, instead of Abu Hanifa, he called him Abu Jifa. Abu in Arabic means father. Jifa means a dead body. For a person we call janaza. For animal we call it jifa. So he referred to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him a lesson, and his story is well known. It happened in Saudi Arabia. When he was writing his assignment, his PhD, it was due to be submitted, and it was school holidays. All his families, they decided to go. He said, you guys go, I will come after I complete this and submit it. I will catch up with you guys within 2 to 3 days when I finish this. When they arrived to the city where they were going to spend the summer, After 2 days, they contacted, they called, nothing, no response. They contacted him on his cell phone, no answer. They called the landline, nothing, no answer. They contacted the authority, the authorities went, knocking on the door, they opened the door, they hold their noses, and they went back. He's dead, and his body is rotten. The scholars who read his assignment, when they reached to that, they deemed his death to be the way he belittled Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. The Mashaykh's view, we are not even qualified to carry their shoes, let alone to come and talk bad against them. The way Imam Abu Hanifa compiled the fiqh and he made them on abwab, on chapters, those who came after him, they followed his footstep, they expanded it. When their views was different from his, they found an excuse for him. For me and for you, this have become very easy for us to learn. One can sit here and read everything. The way they attain their knowledge was different from the way we are attaining our knowledge today. The difference is Surah Al-Fatiha is still Surah Al-Fatiha. Their recitation remains the same. Our recitation and them is the same. We are not adding anything, we are not omitting anything. But the difference is our hearts and our intentions and their hearts and their intention. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us in this hadith. فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Certainly any one of you who lives long will see. He did not say will hear. He said فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Will see a lot of divisions and a lot of frictions. Those real mashayikh are not accountable for what people are claiming to be following them today. If they were to come among us, they will disown many of us. I know some people, 20 or 30 years ago, from my country, they rather give their daughters or their sons to someone who have memorized or who have finished reciting Muwatta, Muwatta Imam Malik, rather than the Quran. That is why we have to be very careful when we see someone following a particular sunnah different from the way we knew it. Instead of condemning him, we need to go and look. Is there other way of doing it differently? If there is, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Sami'na wa ata'ana, we hear and we obey. If there is none, we correct him, but not in public. Remember, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he says, if you correct me in public, you humiliating me, but when you correct me in confidence, you love me, you want goodness for me. We also know the letter that, I always repeat this, the letter that Al-Umari wrote to Imam Malik, trying to belittle his actions. And he said to him, you know, you are getting old, you should be concentrating on ibadah rather than what you are doing now. Imam Malik replied to him after saying, Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He said, Allah has divided the a'mal, the good deed people do, as He has divided the arzaq, the sustenance. For some, He enables them to offer optional prayers. For some, He enables them to be able to sit down and read the Quran as long as possible. For some, He gave them the strength of fasting. For some, He gave them the strength of being wealthy and being good-hearted to give in charity. He says, what you are doing is not less, what I'm doing is not less than what you are doing. In fact, my ibadah and your ibadah complement each other's and strengthens each other's. He closed the letter by saying, Wassalam. Today, if I disagree with someone on an opinion, sometimes because my iman is weak, I will say, no, I don't think I'll pray behind him because he doesn't do this or he does this, and it's just a difference of opinion. We know the scholars, their views on the usul, on the pillars, there's no differences. It is only on the furu'. وَيَجْمَعُنَا أَكْثَرُ مِمَّا يُفَرِّقْنَا. They said one thing that brings us all together, many things brings us together than that divides us. That's why Imam Shafi rahimahullah, when his students got upset and left his class because of different opinion in one simple mas'ala, the teacher, Al-Imam Shafi rahimahullah, he went to him. He said to him, you abandoned me because of our different opinion. There are many things that united us. There are many things that united us. Back to the hadith. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, listen and obey, even if a slave comes and rules you. Meaning that he forces himself to the power to rule you. Listen and obey. He says, hold on to the Sunnah, to my Sunnah, and the Sunnah of the companions after me. Abdu alayha bin nawajiz. Hold on to it with your back teeth, meaning that don't let it go. If you are practicing one Sunnah, and you are only doing that, you have put yourself you are tightening your reward. Try and practice as many as you can. Somebody sent me a text message saying, oh, Sheikh, I understand that the topic is about maintaining the Sunnah. Can you talk about having multiple wives as well? I said to him, I don't need to talk about that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam legislated it. I cannot say no to that. Islam, our two sources of guidance in this deen is the Quran and Sunnah. It's taking it holistically. We cannot cherry pick and say, I will practice this Sunnah. No, I don't like the other Sunnah. No, it doesn't work that way. It is taking it all or leaving it all. Widen your reward as much as possible. Never belittle, never underestimate a small Sunnah. A Sunnah that you may think, no, this is nothing. No, don't see it that way. Remember the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, "Uridat alayya amalu ummati." He said, the deed of my ummah have been presented to me. I found that the major sins that is committed is that a spit in the masjid is left without being cleaned, without being buried. A small piece of dirt you see in the masjid, you take it. It is hugely rewarding. If you are able to contribute in the cleaning of the masjid, don't see yourself as you are doing anyone any favors. Wallahi, you will be trading dust with gold if your intention is sincere. Always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable you to be able to be humble and to enable you to be able to practice the sunnahs as much as you can, and encourage others to do the sunnahs because it is part of the da'wah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in hadith, "Ballighu anni walau ayah." Deliver, convey on my behalf, even if it is one ayah. Today, many people are thinking, there are many soccer players who are going to Al-Nasr or to Al-Hilal, they're getting paid millions. Wallahi, their payments in those dollars is nothing compared to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, "I wish I could meet my brothers." And the companion said, "Alasna ikhwanaka ya Rasulullah, aren't we your brother, O Messenger of Allah?" He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "No, you are my companion. You saw me and you believed in me. Those are people who will come after me and after you. They will only hear about me and they will believe me and they will follow me." So reviving the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If Iblis, if your qareen is trying to whisper in your ears, this is too hard, this is too difficult, remember this. I'm doing what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. You are not a messenger, but you do his deed, you get the reward of the messenger. Can these two be compared? No, they cannot be compared. Reviving the sunnah, it's signs of loving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he told us, "Al-mar'u ma'a man ahab." A person will be resurrected with those they love. What a beauty will be to be resurrected with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our worries in this life and our sorrows in this life is nothing when one is rewarded, when one is shown their place in Jannah. Brothers and sisters, sometimes you will hear people say, I am Ahlul Hadith. Yes, if you are Ahlul Hadith, try and do your best to educate others who have got less knowledge than you in a manner that does not belittle them. We know Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, they saw an elderly person was making wudu and he was performing it wrongly. Instead of going and telling him, they came to him. Each one said, he doesn't know how to do wudu, he doesn't know how to do wudu. The old man said, okay, you do it, let me see. And they all performed the same way. This old man said, oh, okay, now I know how to make the wudu. So if you see someone doing something wrongly, don't shout, don't yell. You are bid'ati, you are this, you are that. Wallahi, many people, they don't know. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in Taif, when Allah sent Jibreel, he gave him two options. the mountains on these people, to destroy them, or to turn the city upside down. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma ighfir li ummati fa innahum la ya'lamun. Allah forgive my ummah, they don't know. He said that maybe from their offsprings there will be people who will not commit shirk, partnership with you. Today look at the mashayikh in Al-Qasim and Al-Taif, Shaykh Al-Usaymin rahimahullah and the rest and others. Look, where are they from? We are practicing, if you are practicing the Sunnah and you are offering the fard, the obligations, don't think that, don't take it as a guarantee you'll make it to Jannah. Have a hope and have a fear. I hope you are doing it. Maybe Allah will accept you with His mercy. Because only Allah's mercy first and then our deed. And this includes Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because the companions asked, even you, O Messenger of Allah? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes, even me. So don't take it as a guarantee. You already have got your passport to Jannah, or you have got your key to Jannah. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remain steadfast, ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, and to grant you good ending. And to grant good ending. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us good ending. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to practice what we preach and to practice what we have been preached. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the knowledge of the Quran and Sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the love of His Sunnah, and to be able to practice them as much as possible and as much as we can. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep the influence of Iblis on us weak. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen us in our body and grant us health and wealth to be able to spend in His path the only way that pleases Him. Ameen. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.